Hi, and welcome to our first ever Remind Connected Educator series. I'm Tanya Avrith, and I'm really excited to be speaking with you today about what it means to be a connected educator here in the state of Florida. So I have some amazing guests today. I'm so excited to have some of my friends and fellow connected educators here in the state speaking with us today. So just to briefly introduce myself, I'm Tanya Avrith, and I currently live in Boynton Beach, Florida. And I work for Remind as the Community Growth Manager here in the state. And I also am an educator myself, so I'm really, really excited to be working with Remind and connecting with all these incredible connected educators here in Florida. I'm going to pass you over to my colleague, Lisa.
Hi everyone, great to be here with these amazing Florida educators. My name is Lisa Debs. I'm an educational consultant, and I am also a former principal, and I'm also the founder of New Teacher Chat on Twitter, and it's great to be here with these wonderful connected educators in Florida supporting the work that they're doing, because there's many of us in California doing the same kinds of things, and so cross-country and connecting is the way that we need to be, the way that we learn, the way that we grow, and so it's a privilege to be here with all of you. I too am doing some work for Remind as a community growth consultant, and I'm excited to be here for our time together.
So I want to pass it also over to Tammy and Jen. I'd love for you guys to introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Tammy Neal. I currently live in a very small rural town of Trenton, Florida. I work in another small rural town of Branford, Florida, where I am a computer apps and game design teacher. I have been considered myself a connected educator for about 3 years now, and I moderate 2 or 3 chats on Twitter every week. So that's me in a nutshell.
Hi guys, my name is Jennifer Williams, and I am honored to be a Florida educator with you all. I'm a global program developer for Calliope Global, and I work to connect classrooms from around the whole world and get them involved in global projects and starting conversations. I'm here in Clearwater, Florida, and I'm also the co-founder of EdCamp Tampa Bay, and I'm just thrilled to be here with you guys and honored that Tanya, Lisa, and Remind asked me to join in. So happy to talk. I can't wait for this conversation.
So I'd like to start with a very basic understanding in your minds of what it means to be a connected educator. There may be some people who are going to watch this broadcast, and they don't necessarily understand what that even means as what it means to be a connected educator. So I'd love to just talk a few moments about what you guys think it means to be a connected educator.
I can start. I think really just now any educator anywhere in Florida has a platform to share his or her voice and connect. All you really need is a network of like-minded individuals, and you can customize that network. So the bonds that have been created for me have just been transformational. So I kind of went from being an educator that I felt I was connected, but I was almost connected in a silo, like in my own small school. But now really changing my mindset and looking at things a little bit more globally and looking at Florida and all of those educators as part of my professional learning network has really expanded that for me.
Tammy, what would you say it means to you to be a connected educator?
Well, for me, being from a small rural area, I was the only high school level game design teacher in my district. I still am. And so there's not a lot of ways for me to get professional learning specifically for my classroom. So being a connected educator has allowed me to reach out to other teachers, other educators who are in the same field that I'm in, and to see what they're doing and to learn from their ideas as well. So connecting, there's not one platform for it, and that's the amazing part, is you can be a connected educator And there are tons and tons of platforms out there, be it Facebook, be it Twitter, be it the Remind Connected Educator network. And it's about the conversation, and it's about the give and take between educators.
And speaking about being a connected educator, just for those of you who are watching, because I'm so excited to see so many viewers joining in, you can connect with us right now live. If you're on Twitter, just use hashtag RCE chat. So if you want to ask us any questions as this webinar goes on, please feel free. Again, it's on Twitter, hashtag RCE chat. So Lisa, I want to ask you the same question. What do you think for you it means to be a connected educator?
Well, I joined Twitter back in January of 2009, and back then, and I tell this story frequently, you know, Twitter was a place that wasn't very occupied by educators. It was occupied by companies and by actors and other kinds of celebrities. And so I bounced out of Twitter back in 2009, but I jumped back in late 2009, and I said, there's got to be educators here. There've got to be people that care about the same things I do. And I started to just Google educators on Twitter. And that is the beginning of how I began to be connected. And my point of connection was actually a young educator, a brilliant young woman named Shelley Terrell, who was in Germany at the time, and she happens to be one of the co-founders of the largest chat in the world for educators, EdChat. And I connected with her in the fall of 2009, and she really mentored me through the process of what it meant to be a connected educator. She mentored me through the idea of blogging. She mentored me through the idea of using social media to talk with others about the things that I cared about. As a former principal, and recently having left that work, I was feeling a little lost in terms of what I wanted to do and how I was going to connect to this global world. Being in the building as a principal, there's tons of connections every day, connections with students and parents and teachers and other folks in your district. But when you leave that building, when you leave that structure, it can feel lonely, it can feel isolating. And so by meeting with her all the way in Germany, I knew she was from San Antonio, though she was actually an expat there at the time. But meeting with her, I really began to learn about ways that I could get connected once again. So for me, it's allowed me to do many things. It's allowed me to begin to blog. It's allowed me to meet people internationally and nationally. And it allowed me to build my chat, NT Chat, New Teacher Chat, the longest running chat on Twitter for new and pre-service teachers. And being connected for me means to learn and grow, and to never stop learning and growing, and to learn and grow from others that are not only in my state or across the nation, but internationally, and to seek out ways to do that and to find ways to share my passion as I connect. So being disconnected is very isolating. Being connected is very passionate and very exciting, and helps us to grow and learn so much more about what we want to do and what we want to be, not only for those that are in the classroom with their students, but really also for administrators and beyond. So it's just a way to stay current and stay on trend with things in our educational field that we need to be knowing about and growing from.
I love that, and I also think it's really important for us to be connected educators, to be in touch with what's going on with our students, as our students live in a world where they're constantly connected. And I always say we need to learn how to speak social media. Maybe we don't have to be on everything, but we have to know what exists and what it does, because this is a literacy for them as well, as much as it is a literacy for us that we need to learn. So being connected is, in my mind, really about being literate. And being able to communicate in a really effective way. So I'm just kind of curious to ask you guys, what are some of the ways that you are connecting? What are some of the avenues that you're taking to help yourself become better connected? So I'm going to start this with Tammy.
Well, a little over a year and a half ago, I connected with someone, and we revamped Florida EdChat. We brought it back. It had kind of settled in and stopped, and we revamped it, and I'm happy to say that we have some really great guest speakers this month. And so I also saw, being from a rural area, that a lot of the conversations were focused on school districts that had more resources than the rural schools did. And so I found some other rural educators, and we kind of banded together and created Rural Ed Chat. And I just find that through Twitter is where it was my first device. That's where I really realized I could be connected to other people. I've started then bringing things that I know from Twitter and sharing those within my own school network through our email system and things like that, to try to encourage other people to join me in that Twitterverse, as we call it, the Twitter universe. And I'm also finding that Facebook is also a really great avenue for connecting, and I know some people are leery of that, but sharing across the platforms has really helped people see that the other platforms aren't as scary as they thought they were. So for me, it's a little bit of everything. I try to get out there and do some Instagram, and I do some Facebook, and try to do a little bit of everything.
Jennifer, what are some of the avenues that you're sort of taking now as you become more and more connected, especially this year?
Well, I mean, kind of going back even to what Lisa was saying with Twitter, I too joined Twitter in the early years, but it's just, I didn't have that connection at that point. I just didn't really get it. So I'm quite new to Twitter, and actually just kind of jumped in January at FETC, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a try. And it has been the #1 professional development of my entire career. But from that, I know, like, there's so many tools that I use, but really the key is the relationships that come from them. But I feel like Twitter is the beginning, and it's the spark, and then from there, I mean, conversations on Voxer. I'm really interested in using Periscope as an educator and using that to connect. Things such as just like meeting up with people that I connect with on Twitter and on these other forums, and developing and fostering those relationships. I think that is the key. But so many things that we'll probably talk about too, but ed camps, and Remind has something great called Coffee EDU. I mean, there's like, I feel like if you're open and looking, there are things out there for every type of person.
Well, and speaking about ed camps, I think that's a really good avenue, and I think it kind of ties hand in hand with that whole connected sort of world, because for those of people who don't know what an ed camp is, well, I mean, I'd love to put it out to you guys. What's an ed camp, and what are your experiences with them, and how do you think they also tie back to being a connected educator?
Well, I'll start here, sorry, Tanya. I'm sorry. An ed camp is what's called an unconference. There's no set agenda until the day you get there, and everybody that's there chooses the topics that they wish to talk about. There may or may not be an expert in the room. The room may be the expert itself. And the great thing about an ed camp is that you bring in a wide variety of opinions. Some may or may not agree with you, but that's okay, because the conversation creates the relationship, and that allows the ongoing conversation to happen beyond the ed camp. And so, I got to, I've participated in 8 or 9 ed camps in the last year and a half. Helped produce 2, and very excited about the things that are coming for Florida in the form of ed camps. Lots of new ideas coming down the pike for people to look forward to.
Well, maybe Jen, you might want to take some of those, share some of those things coming up. I know that you're currently organizing Ed Camp Tampa, and I'd love for people to learn a little bit more about some of the ed camps that are happening. It's specifically on the West Coast if they're watching from that area.
You know, Florida has a lot of great ed camps right now, and if you look at the ed camp page, you can find all of the information there. But I can tell you, my first ed camp was actually Tammy's ed camp in Brantford, and it's a life-changing experience. And to be empowered as a teacher, and you go, and it's like, all right, here's what I'm interested in learning, and here's what I'm interested in sharing, and the two combine, and it's like, it's magic. I mean, it truly is extraordinary. And so now, after Ed Camp Brantford, I've become completely addicted. And so any opportunity to go to an ed camp in Florida, I'm there. So Ed Camp Tampa Bay, that's coming up in October, and it's going to be wonderful. There's Ed Camp Citrus. There's centrally located ed camps. There's some in North Florida. There's some in South Florida. There's also
going to be one in South Florida. I can't exactly.
There's going to be one in it's coming.
We're organizing it. I don't want to say yet because we haven't confirmed.
Okay.
The date, but
we won't
I'll just
let the cat out.
If it's happening around November. I'll just say that. You'll hear more.
You're dropping like little breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
Another way too, if you're new to the ed camp movement, because I really do feel it is a movement, a good way to just kind of get your feet wet in it is to check out Ed Camp Global. And this is a little bit different of a format because it's all online, and it's getting educators from around the world. I think right now, this is a big one, there's like 1,300 attendees registered and like 150 facilitators. So topics, and it's not just on technology, it's not just ed tech, it's everything. So I think that that's something else too that people need to understand, that ed camps are about education, and it's really about whatever the interest is for the ed camp at hand. So but there's a lot of great things coming up in the next school year with ed camps in Florida, so very, very eager to see all those connections that come from that.
And if you're watching or you pass this along to people who you might want to get connected, because I hope that you do, the people that are watching, I want you to keep in mind that ed camps are the most powerful experience, because what they do is they really put the learning in the hands of the attendees. They really, there's no one person that becomes the go-to expert. And it allows you to have a lot of choice and voice in your own learning and to sort of map that out. And they're free. There's no reason to have to pay lots of money to have an opportunity to learn. And I want to give a really big shout out to Jerry Switek, because I consider Jerry like the godfather of ed camp here in the state. Jerry started ed camps. He was actually the fifth, if I'm not mistaken, the fifth ed camp anywhere in the world. So at Camp Citrus, I mean, we're very proud to have Jerry as part of our Florida Connected Educators fellow PLN, because he started Ed Camp movement pretty much here in the state, and for the most part anywhere. So Florida's got some really incredible things happening. There's a lot of movement that's happening here, because these ed camps are contagious and they're just popping up left, right, and center, and people are getting really excited, which is a good place to be. I wanted to ask if you guys had any particular strategies that you might want to share with people who maybe are not connected, maybe are not on Twitter, and who are a bit nervous or uncomfortable by the idea of getting going. And I'm going to open this up to all three of you. Lisa, feel free. I know that you've done some great stuff with new teachers that I'd love you to share as well. So what would you say to somebody who's just getting going?
Well, I'll go first. One of the things that I share with the new teachers that I mentor and speak with, and even veteran teachers that I speak with that are not on Twitter or even very involved in social media beyond, say, Facebook, and nothing against Facebook, but I just feel that there's so many other more vibrant communities. I will tell them to lurk and learn first. So pick a place that they want to learn. So if they're not on Facebook, maybe you want to visit a friend's Facebook page to see what that's all about. And you might say, what? They're not on Facebook? But truly there are a lot of people that aren't on Facebook. It's pretty interesting to see the metrics for that. But I would say lurk and learn. If you're interested in getting onto Twitter, go with a friend who's already on Twitter and kind of lurk, see what they're looking at, see what they're connecting to, see what Twitter is all about. Visit some blogs. Blogs can be a great way to lurk and learn. Visit some blogs that talk about connecting on Facebook, what Twitter is about, how you blog.
You
So
have
you can visit a blog.
Just to kind of get going, who would you say would be your top person to start looking at?
In terms of lurking and learning?
Yeah, lurking and learning, or someone who you would suggest on Twitter is a good person to start with.
Okay. I would give a shout out to my friend Alice Keeler. She is somebody who is very active on Twitter, even more active, I think, than I am. And she loves Twitter, as we all do, but she really uses it as a tool to truly bring people together and talk about things that are meaningful to people across the globe. And she started a class just today, I think, on Twitter, on Remind. She's starting a class to learn about Twitter if you're new to Twitter. So I would really recommend that you check out Alice Keeler. She's somebody that connects very well, she shares well, and she's somebody that you can lurk and learn from. And remember that if you're new to it, you can see people's feeds without actually being on Twitter. And it gives you an idea about what you might want to do and how you might want to connect. So my advice would be lurk and learn.
Jen, would you like to just maybe add anything to that?
I think, like what Lisa was saying, is to find a friend and really have someone that, maybe someone in your school, and you're thinking, okay, like, let's put ourselves out there and just try. People I talk to, you just kind of have to jump in and take a little bit of a risk. And like for me, I was nervous I would make a mistake because it was new to me, but the network is so supportive. And like we said earlier, it's customized. So you're really personalizing it with people that have like-minded interests, and it happens naturally, and it happens quickly too. So I think that my biggest tip would be to just kind of find a friend to do it with.
And Tammy, I'd love for you to share what you're doing on Saturday mornings as a way to get people started off. I think that would be that's a good shout out.
Well, on Saturday mornings, I am not actually one of the moderators, but I show up pretty regularly on a chat called New Teachers to Twitter, hashtag NT2T, the number 2. And it allows you to that you may not follow. So there's lots of veteran Twitter users, educators who are there to answer questions, to assist you with learning the nuances of Twitter, and just bringing you on board and helping you find members that can become part of your personal learning network or your professional learning network. Immediately following that chat, at 10 o'clock, I, along with a lady by the name of Leslie Fagan and Angela, and I can never pronounce Angela's last name, and I hope she forgives me for that. But Angela B. and Leslie and I moderate a half hour for new teachers to Voxer, NT2V, and for those people that are new to the Voxer platform. And then we take them over to an actual Voxer group chat, and we do hands-on practice with them there before they jump into a real Voxer conversation. So there's lots of mentoring going on, and as Jennifer was talking about earlier with the global Ed Camp Global, I am in part of that. I'm one of the facilitators, and I'm facilitating a Mentor to Connect Twitter chat during Ed Camp Global, and I believe it's on the 1st at 7 p.m. Eastern, if I remember my time zone changes and all of that correctly. But it's Mentor to Connect, and we're going to be talking about exactly that. How do you bring someone from an I don't want to say an unconnected, because we really all are connected no matter whether it's online or offline, but how do you bring somebody to that online connection? How do you help them learn how to use that? So we're going to be doing that there as well.
I love it. So I'm actually going to share a few resources for people to take away as we sort of finish up with our webinar today. And I want you to check out, just to make sure that I don't forget, I want you to check out our new program that Remind has started. It's called the Remind Connected Educator. The RCEs were Remind Connected Educators. And it's a really dynamic group, and it's growing quickly, of these really amazing educators who are really interested in building community and collaborating, and we're really, it's not necessarily a group of just Remind lovers, but we're really trying to build community and help bridge so many people that we know are either already connected or beginning to become connected. So this is a really great program. It's actually quite easy to join. And I'll make it even easier. All you have to do is Google Remind Connected Educators. It's probably the best way, I would say, if you're interested in learning more, to get connected. And once you join the group, we have also, and I'll let Lisa just sort of talk a little bit about the RCE chat. Go ahead, Lisa.
Okay, sure. I'm happy to do that. One of the things that we find to be very vibrant, and you've heard us all talk about it, is the ability to chat on Twitter. And when you're on Twitter, or when you're first on Twitter, you're going to see a feed, and you're going to join and follow some people who may have the same kinds of likes that you do, or maybe some that go a little bit contrary to what you like, and they kind of upset your equilibrium, and that's really what it's all about, right to learn and grow. But one of the most powerful things that Twitter does is provide opportunities for us to chat. Businesses have been doing it, organizations and actors have been doing it, and educators have been doing it now. And again, I mentioned before, a shout out to EdChat, the largest chat in the world that's for educators. It happens on Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific time and 4 p.m. Pacific time. And so from EdChat have come all these other wonderful chats. I met with Sally Terrell for a while back in early 2010, and that's how I developed NT Chat, Pound NT Chat, which is New Teacher Chat. And many other wonderful chats have come from there. One of the things that's wonderful about chats is it really helps you to get connected when you're on Twitter, to meet other people, to follow other people, and you can do that through a variety of ways. And we probably will, after this webinar, share some blog posts where you can learn about what a Twitter chat is all about if you're not certain. But one of the things that we want to do is begin to do a chat for our connected educators. So look for the chat, Remind Connected Educator chat, to start next Thursday, July 30th, and look for it to be a chat that's about you. It's about people that want to become connected or that are connected. It's about growing and learning from your personal learning network that's on Twitter. It's about learning from other educators about ways that you can either become more connected or connected in a different way. Maybe you're connected just in your state, but not nationally. Maybe you're connected nationally, but not internationally. So it's going to be some opportunity for us to come together bi-monthly, speak together, have guest moderators there speaking about themes and ideas and projects that are important to all educators that are around the world. And it's also going to be a way for you to learn about how you can become a Remind Connected Educator if you're interested. But it's going to be for all educators, teachers, administrators, superintendents, anybody that cares about connecting, growing, and learning. So I look forward to launching that with Remind next Thursday on July 30th, with more details to be announced soon.
So I want to thank everybody for joining today. I know how precious all of our time is, and I want to thank all the people that have joined in today to watch. We look forward to launching some more of our webinars in different states as the weeks progress. And we're very excited about all of our new community members, and we hope to continue to build community here at Remind and in the state of Florida or wherever you're at. So thank you so much, Jen and Tammy and Lisa, for joining today. And we look forward to meeting with you at some, perhaps an EdCamp, perhaps a Twitter chat, perhaps on Voxer, perhaps on Facebook sometime very soon. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Tanya. Bye, everyone.